what are y'all doing, right? And it's New Year, like so I was like, well, you gotta do this and that, and and they're like, well, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna suck, but the second time you do it, you're gonna suck less,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you're gonna be okay, then you're gonna be good, and then you're gonna be freaking awesome.
David and I spent a lot of time talking about how our subconscious is wired to scan for danger. As a recovering perfectionist, I know how easy it is to believe that voice that says you can't. At the same time, ignoring the one that says, of course you can. We all have the power to change that focus. Whether it's finding your Marty, as David says, that specific person you're meant to serve, or choosing to see failure as a gift and an opportunity. Success is a choice we make every single day.
This is Leadership Sound Bites. Real leaders, real moments, real growth.
Welcome to this episode of Leadership Soundbites. Very special guest, David Goldstein. David and I met, we were just unpacking it to try and figure out the different layers and connections. We're both part of Ansel Lee's Common Grounds. Yeah. And then Alan Nippers connected both of us. And you and I have been in the room a few times,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
chatting, because it's like, and I have to tell you, you're one of those people when I meet you, it's like, I want to be in the room with you more.
Well, that is mutual.
Yeah, no, it's just cool. There's so much to talk about, and I don't think we limit ourselves on that stuff. So, who are you? You've got the book in the background, founder of, author of 9% Club, and you're doing some really cool stuff with that as well. And so I don't know. I normally kick off with a quote. Did you have a quote? Did we? We didn't talk about that before we hit
Oh, I
record.
did give you a quote.
Yeah,
I did give you a quote, and let me
you did. Are you gonna think about
so
it?
so it was okay, so funny. So it's a quote from, and I'm gonna ad lib it here.
No, go for
Um
it. I love that.
and it's from Lou Holtz. So I coach kids. I'm a big sports coach, and more to get them outside playing and stuff, not video gaming and all that. But I think there's so much of sports and coaching and business, right? Like how do you win? And it's a learned habit, right? It's a behavior. So I love sports coach. So Lou Holtz just has like unlimited amount of amazing quotes, right? And motivations.
I don't
So
know. Who is he?
Lou Holtz?
Okay, I'm sorry. Now all of a sudden I'm no longer someone you want to be in the room with.
Like
Like,
Lou Holtz. So
what? What
he
have you
was
been living under a rock?
He's well, to be fair, like college football is my favorite sport. So
Okay.
grew up in East Lansing, Michigan, big diehard Spartan fan. Michigan State, not Michigan.
Okay.
And Lou Holtz was a very, very famous college coach and won a national
Okay.
championship, Notre Dame.
Okay.
Um, and he so really, really big time college coach, but then he do his talks and probably one of the most brilliant and best motivational speakers.
Oh, I love
And
that. So now
um,
I'm going to look him up, by the way. So
he
thank you.
just as a little like funny thing, years ago he used to do he would do like a halftime during halftime of a game, he would do commentary and explain what was going on. So before the game would start, or maybe it was at halftime, he'd say, they'd say, okay, well, if you were in the locker room, what would you be telling these kids? Right. So it was always awesome to hear him talk. So
Yeah.
years ago, West Virginia was number one. They were going to go to the national championship, and they were playing. Their last game was Pitt, and who was terrible, and it was like a joke. And it was like, do you even watch the game? And they're like, Lou, like, if you're coaching in Pittsburgh, what would you, I mean, how do you even show up? So he does his thing, and I'll never forget. So this is important. So he's sitting there and he's like taking this, it was a USA Today paper, and he's like going and he's like, if you don't believe, then just he's tearing this newspaper up. And he's like, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't go, can't do it, then we're here today. And he goes, and it was something like, and I'll get this wrong, but it was like in 1971, there was two quarterbacks, one was number one, whatever. Bob Smith was the number one guy. Who was the number two, the best, second best quarterback? And he's waiting. He goes, it doesn't matter because he was number two. Nobody cares. Well, it's about being. And all of a sudden, boom, the newspaper appears. It was like a magic trick, and it was all full. And I'm like, I got to start doing push-ups. I'm like, this is amazing. Pittsburgh won that game in West Virginia, didn't go to the national championship.
Really?
It was I don't know if there's like a cosmic thing of his, but anyways, it just got me as like the power of belief, right? And all that.
Yeah.
So Lou Holt's really powerful. And the quote I gave you was along the lines of um, successful people aren't extraordinary, but they have an extraordinary commitment to success,
Mm.
right?
It's
And
it's a belief, it's a commitment, it's the practice, it's the and you know it's funny, Dave, when you're talking, it's like the thing that kept playing in my head was if you tell me you can't, you're right. If you tell me
Mhm.
you can, you're right.
I
Because
say it to
you're
my kids all
right.
the time.
Yes, you're
I
right
can't
both
get this.
ways.
I can't get this homework on. I'm going to do bad on this test. And I always, this is impossible. And I always go, I believe you.
Yeah.
And if you said, I'm going to nail this test, I can do it, I would believe you. And it's belief mindset. Um, we have this little voice in our heads that for some reason we believe when it says no or you can't or
Hmm.
it's impossible, and then we don't believe it when it says we can and it is possible. It's really interesting.
Well, I think part of it is our subconscious is meant to keep us safe.
Yeah.
And I think part of that stuff is it's easier for us to be scanning the environment wired back from hunter-gatherer days for danger, right? So if you go out and try something, is there a chance that it's not going to work the first time? Yes. Pretty freaking strong one, right? And so if you connect that air quote failure, right, or it didn't work, and you don't associate with learning and gift and opportunity and all that stuff, and you consider it failure, final, fatal, whatever, how likely are you to go try?
You know, I love I love helping and like coaching people like obviously kids and stuff, but help out whatever MBA programs and VC and so I was talking to some founders earlier in the week and and I was like, they're like, well, we want to have the sex and we got to do this raise and we're talking. And I was like, all right, I'm like, well, what are y'all doing, right? And it's New Year, like so I was like, well, you gotta do this and that. And and they're like, well, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna suck. But the second time you do it, you're gonna suck less.
Yeah.
And then and all of a sudden you're gonna be okay, then you're gonna be good, and then you're gonna be freaking awesome, right? Like, and it's just like you have to do it. And I think, as we were talking, I was thinking about like, when we were kids, it was so like sit in a classroom, you're afraid to raise your hand because you could be wrong if you answer,
Hmm.
everyone's gonna laugh at you mentality. And it's like, no, like, who cares? Like, just put it out there and you get better and better and better. Take the chance.
I
It's
have to wonder how much of that, and I'm not wondering, I'm thinking teachers are a huge influence on that whole thing. Like if the experience was that, you raised your hand, it was wrong, and your teacher goes, "Great thinking." Yes, and da 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 da, the rest of it, right? And all of a sudden they're influencing the kids around you to not be laughing and making fun of you anymore, but to go, oh my God, I get, and then now someone else who's quiet is going to raise their hand and step in and contribute. And I'm not saying that teachers don't do that, but I don't know that they're intentional about doing that. And I have to wonder the difference it would make in that whole
it's
dynamic.
I think you're spot on. I mean, well, I was always getting in trouble for talking and getting set in the
Me too.
corner.
Me too. Okay.
But so teachers didn't say much to me, but except yelling. But you know, but think about that. Like you're in a business meeting and you say like the dumbest thing, your thought
Mhm.
is dumb. And imagine like the boss, the manager, whatever. It's like, wow. Like, love the way you're thinking. Not applicable here, but let's hope. But hold on a second. Like, walk me through that. What do you think? Okay, now can we apply it to this over here? And my dad actually used to, when he taught medical school, he would do that and say, like, I need these kids, they're medical. I need these kids thinking. My job's to get them to think the right way in the path. But if I can't get them thinking, like, they're not going to know the right answer day one.
Mm-mm.
But if we can get them thinking and problem solving, and he would say, someone comes into the clinic or the hospital, they can't be like, let me see the test, but they got to think and problem solve. And it's all about problem solving, right?
Hmm.
And it's I challenge my kids, I challenge my teams, anyone I can talk to is it's not the answer, it's why. Why is that there? Why are you thinking this? Like why? Because if you could be thinking the right way, and if you get that why was I wrong? Or why was I right? Why does this matter? Right? Why am I pushing out this campaign? Or um, then it trains, I think it trains the subconscious to start thinking and acting differently.
Hmm. I look at, it's interesting. You and I have talked about business stuff, and I want to find out more about what you do with founders, what the 9% Club is, all that stuff, so people don't have to wonder. But what I think about this stuff. My daughter does digital marketing, social media stuff, right? And I'm not great at that. That's not my, and I've talked about this. It's like outreach for me is like, And I think a lot of it comes back. I have my human design done, and my human design is, I think it's a projector. And so we have to
Mhm.
wait to be invited. That's the best place to be in. Someone invites us in, and then everything's there. Well, you think about when you do outreach, most of the time people aren't inviting you in. You're like knocking on a door that isn't open. And I think that's one of the things, the light bulb went off the other day. But that being
Yeah,
said, I've been on Instagram for a while, and I'll do posts and reels, the same thing I do on LinkedIn and other spaces. And I'm always curious. And that's my word for this year, by the way, curious,
I like
curiosity.
it. I like it.
I'm gonna take it to another level.
I might
Um,
adopt your word. I like it.
yeah, there's something happening that curiosity is the thing that's going to do. Last year it was playful. But Instagram, I would get likes because there's marketing, there's, engagement stuff being done behind it, but not comments a lot. And then I had this one post that went and it was a reel from a thing and it got a lot of comments. I mean, for me, it was a lot of comments. It was like 8, 9 comments. And I wasn't looking for comments. And then I went back and looked and I'm like, what? So then my question is, why? Why this one? What is it that had real people, not bots, but
Yep.
real people commenting? And I'm like, what's different?
And I have an idea. I actually have a thought of what's different.
Yeah.
But do you know the answer?
The thing that one was about was mental health.
Okay.
So I think at some point it resonated with people. And so for me, it's the thing is, what matters to people? It's not just about putting content out there, but it's about talking about things that matter to people.
Did you do anything differently on that post? Your style, your setup, your mindset
I
framework?
don't know, but I'll think, not that I can readily think of, but I'll go back and look. But since then, there have been others that I've gone and for me, it's about, which was not the normal thing for me, but I do it on the podcast, but I didn't do it on other postings, like giving insights into me. What am I feeling? What do I think about stuff? So there have been others since then because apparently with algorithms, if you do get engagement, you do get comments, then all of a sudden the reach is going beyond your followers. And that could be part of it too, but something has to start. There's chicken and the egg, right? So something came first.
Well, I think and I've taken a step back on posting. I got to get back into it, but like LinkedIn, they updated their algorithm, so it's different now,
Yeah.
and than it was last year. And I think, and this is just me
Yeah.
on your podcast. I hope it's okay. I'm saying this.
Yeah, but please.
Um, so I think you're right. You're a presenter, right? Like your design and super passionate, amazing, and all that. And I'm just wondering
Yeah.
if your previous posts were trying to post, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
going to produce content that someone's going to go, aha, wow, this is the moment. I like it. Thank you. I will respond like you are amazing, Michelle, right? And maybe that one that you did was just you speaking from the heart and being you. And that's what people want. They want the authenticity, they
You
want
know,
the genuineness.
it was because for me, and this is me, it's not about me. So this the stuff that I'm doing is shining a light on other people and what they're doing. That's my purpose, right? So that it's like highlighting you, David, to go, okay, can someone resonate with what you're saying? Is there something that you're saying that can help them, that can basically what you were talking about when leaders sit back and go, I don't know if I should comment. The thing that I'll say is what you're going to say, do you believe it's going to move the room forward? Is it going to contribute to the conversation or is it going to derail what's going on, right? But is it move the room forward? If it moves the room forward, be brave.
Well, see, and I think that was your post, right? If you're like, hey, I'm kicking off the year like being curious, like, does that make sense? Like, here's what makes sense to me. I don't know, like I'd love to like who wants to be curious with me? You're gonna get comments, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like
Yeah.
now it's like, oh, this is authentic. Like that's you.
Yeah.
And I think that and now with the algorithm, like if it's at LinkedIn at least, it's not about even commenting as much as it's people commenting more in the movement from those and the more and
Yeah.
more and more. And then I'll say one other thing and I'm gonna kind of tee up the book for a second because it's
Thank you.
because it's important. So
Yeah.
so we really believe that you have to niche down and have a targeted audience, right? So in our system, our AI platform, Lexi, um, we help people get their avatar. We call it an avatar. You can call it an ICP. That's like the formal like marketing jargon, your
Yeah.
ideal client profile. But you really got to have it, right? Like, so we call it avatar. Our avatar is Marty. Like you got to name it, you got to feel it, you got to see it. And the thing is it's true. The riches are in the niches, like as the saying goes.
Yeah.
And and if you're trying to talk to everybody, you're talking to nobody.
I
So
know.
if everything your talk track, your posts on whatever, Instagram or this, if it's all aligned to your avatar, your ICP, the people that you want to talk to, then it will resonate that much more.
Hmm.
You know, um, the 9% Club. It was written for Marty. We want to help 91% of people fail in business. It just is what it is, unfortunately. But it doesn't have to be that way. We want everyone, as many people as possible, to become 9%ers, right? Win,
Hmm.
do well, hit your dreams. And so, but the book, my content, everything is addressing Marty. So I'm out here in New Jersey, right? In Princeton, New Jersey, and there's like, buddies, executives at drug companies or, Wall Street, whatever. And they're like, oh, your book was interesting. I found I could read it like in a weekend. And I'm like, oh, really? Because you should be able to read it in a day, right? Like, and I'm like, dude, it ain't written for you, buddy. This is written for founders. This is written like to grasp what you want, speak to it in a certain way, make it actionable, apply it, whatever chapter you're on today. Don't wait, right? So what I mean by that, I'm not trying to plug the book. What I'm trying to make the point of is I didn't care what anybody outside of Marty thinks about what we're doing because I
Yeah.
know if the Marty's out there, it's going to resonate, and if they do well, that's what we're looking for, right? So I think one of the biggest mistakes when posting and this and that is we're just trying to put this generic thing out there, trying to reach everybody, and then we don't reach anyone.
That's very profound what you said, and I think in my back of my head, because you're saying it like just find your Marty, just identify your Marty, just do whatever. It's freaking hard. Okay? It is not. How long did it take you to find Marty, to identify Marty? Seriously.
Well, really long, and that's why we made Lexi so it can take you minutes instead
Yeah.
of weeks.
I mean, and
We do it for
even,
you, but
yeah.
no,
Well,
but
even I assume with Alexi, right? Even though you got AI to assist you to help through, you
yeah,
still have to do the human thinking, right?
you
And so it's one of those things that people like I do executive coaching, leadership development. I've also got a finance background and process improvement and all the stuff, right? And so it's like people go, well, who's your client? Everyone. I can help everyone because I can.
so this is perfect. So and we're I think we're talking anyways. So we're gonna work on this.
We are.
So
We
I
are.
want to help you. So, but think about that. No, not everyone, right? Because you don't want to work with a jerk.
No.
That's not gonna jive with your personality, right? Neither would I.
Right.
I don't work with anybody or on any projects at this point. And I'm fortunate I can do this that I don't like or are boring, right?
Right.
I gotta like what I'm doing. I gotta like the people I'm doing with. if you suck, sorry, like
Yeah.
not doing it, right? So
You're not my
if
person.
right, so with you, I would think it's the same way. If you got some like annoying, first of all, somebody that wants to work with you has to want to be better, right? You
Well,
don't want
that's
to.
it. You can't coach someone who doesn't want to be coached. I mean, it's an uphill battle. But
And
that being said, like if the population of people that I could help, I have looked and said, okay, I had to approach it this way. Who can I have the biggest impact with to where they're going to have the biggest impact, right? Where's the space that I can play in and support people that not everyone can? So there's this area then when you go up and it's all of a sudden it's a leadership level, right? Because a lot of the stuff that I help people with, even though we're dealing with personal, it's business. And people are like, well, I've got this one thing I want to talk about, but it's really not business. But it is. Because when you help the human, that you're going to show up in a personal setting, you're going to show up in a business setting, you're going to show
totally.
up in all this stuff. And so that shift just doesn't happen in this one area.
Well, so like you filled out our questionnaire and it did it for you. It would ask you a lot of questions like that, right? Like
Yeah.
what do they like? What do they do? What do they? I'm making this up. What movies do they watch?
Yeah.
Right? Like what? Um, and but even with that, like that type of person. So you said C-suite people. So who is that not including? Is it? Is it just like a CFO, CEO, COO? Is it a rising VP of finance that could become a CFO? Maybe
Mhm.
not. Maybe not. Maybe they're not ready for it yet, right? So these are the things you have to think about, and then you speak to. Um, maybe it's hey, I only work with CFOs, but if you're a rising VP of finance maybe one day, then you ought to read this book or you ought to read this in my newsletter and then get on my radar. So if I accept you as a client when you're there,
Hmm.
you'll be ready to. So it's like it's just kind of where are you and who are you looking for? And
Hmm.
the hardest thing, and I challenge I have to remind myself of this daily. Who am I not talking to? Who am I okay with alienating? So I'm only speaking to this
That's a
finite group.
different question. Those are two radically different questions. Because when you said, who am I not talking to? My brain went to, where's the place I should be that I'm not? Okay. That's where I went,
Oh,
right?
interesting.
Who am I
Oh,
not talking
okay.
to? And then you took me and flipped it and
Yeah,
said,
no, it's who am I not
basically,
willing to?
who am I alienating or who am I, offending or whatever it may be? Which is, I went, okay, so he didn't mean what I thought he meant. Let's flip the other one.
It's interesting, right? When you think about it like that, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't talk to everyone. You got to be okay that
And
the
so
big.
it's interesting when you talk because the people, so I refer to myself as a recovering perfectionist. Okay. And so the people that I help and coach are people that have aspirations of like, yeah, I want to go here. And maybe they're not comfortable with saying it, right? But they have aspirations of not being, okay, I want to go in, I want to just do my job, and then my life is outside of that job.
Hmm.
Okay. There are other people that so much more of their identity, right? The achievement, the success, I've arrived is through this career path. Because for me, it's like people talk about, sometime retirement. I can't ever imagine actually air quote
Totally,
retiring
totally
because
agree.
at some level, I want to do this less. I'd love to be just part-time and have flexibility, but this fills me up so much and fills who I am that I can never imagine. It'd be like cutting off an arm. I'm not
Well,
going to
because you're doing what you love, and if you do what you love, it's not
exactly.
work. I mean, and
Exactly.
that's how it should be, right? I mean,
Exactly.
we should we this might be outdated, but years ago there was a stat that like stress is one of the biggest killers,
Mm.
and I forget how many people hate their jobs, and as a result, we're stressed. So everything with that, every day you get up, you hate what you're doing, which is a terrible way to live,
Hmm.
right? And that path, that trajectory could be. shortening your lifespan. I mean, just think
Hmm.
about that. It's crazy. And we make that choice. And I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. Well, that's great. Like I'm stuck, right? Or you know, that won't work for me. It doesn't mean today you won't
Hmm.
like, oh, I had this realization today. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up and get a new job. It doesn't, it could work that. It doesn't usually work that. But you can
Mm-mm.
start today thinking, okay, what would make me happy? And what are my like what are my options? What are my choices? And what am I willing to give up? Right? Um and what I found is usually when people are doing what they love, like you're doing what you love. I
Hmm.
love doing what I love,
Hmm.
what I'm doing. It usually works out and people
Hmm.
become richer. And money is like
It's the
that's not
byproduct. It's just a
it's
byproduct.
not that's just like a it's they become richer in life, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of
Yeah.
times, and here's a secret, right? Here's a secret. If you're really good at what you do, if you're the what if well, I try to be the best, right? If you're the best at what you do, the money's there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can make $1 million in stamp collecting. It doesn't matter if you're the best, right? But what matters is are you doing what you love? Are you
Hmm.
helping people? Do you have the
Hmm.
right people around you? And are you not doing the things that you hate or you suck at? And that took me once I understood that, I don't do anything um that I'm not good at or that I don't want to become good at. You know,
Well,
I
and usually the things that we're good at are the things that bring us joy. Okay.
totally.
Usually. I mean, because if you're battling against stuff that you suck at and you're getting, I mean, it's like, okay, hello. But the other thing that I would add to that, David, because what you're talking about is if you're in a job, in a space, whatever, that you're miserable and everything else, you can change the environment that you're in, the thing that you're doing. The thing that kept playing in my head was a bullet point from Sean Akers. I call it the Happiness Advantage video, but it's called something else. And it was back in 2010. It was a TEDx that he did. Sean Aker wrote the Happiness Advantage book. And I've watched that video at least 50 times, not because I needed to, but because I use it in like leadership development.
Love it.
But there's a bullet in there that says essentially, if I know everything about your external environment, I can only predict 10% of your future happiness. 10%. So
Wow.
here's the rest of the story of
Wow.
what you were talking about, right? If you were in a job that you hate, you're miserable and all that stuff, odds are you are hyper focused on all the crap in your life that's wrong. And when you're hyper focused on all the crap in your life that's wrong, guess what? You're going to find it.
It's a great that's a great point. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And if we think about that, so what happens? Like we're working for somebody we hate,
Hmm.
doing a job we hate. Maybe we think it's okay, but like we're not rewarded. We can't, our ideas aren't expressed or a lot, right? Like the typical stuff. And then we're focusing, like you said, on the stuff we hate.
Yeah.
And then this thing happens. Like you did something, it was a good thing. You got the attaboy, the pat on the back. You get a little raise, maybe a Christmas bonus, and then you go and buy a new car, right? Or you we're gonna upgrade the house, or we're gonna,
Hmm.
I'm gonna go buy a new widget or whatever it is.
Hmm.
And then 3 months later, you're back hating your boss again. Like,
Hmm.
attaboy, it hasn't happened in a few months, and we're back in that rut. And it's because we stay in our comfort zones, and in that scenario, our comfort zone is we're gonna do what we can to stay there, right? We're gonna go buy that new thing because we want it, but it's also whether we recognize it or not, we're not gonna be able. We shouldn't do that because in a few months we're gonna be back in this route. And
Well, and not only that, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper, right? Because the scenario that you were talking about, yeah, that can play out that way. But here's been my experience, right? They're in that thing. All they're doing is looking at the stuff that's not working. The attaboy happened, the raise happened, and guess what? You never acknowledge it. You're
yeah,
still in the space. This job sucks. They don't appreciate me. I never get it. I'm serious. These absolutes come out of your mind, out of your mouth. And I'm sitting here as a coach when I'm know what's happened, and I'm gonna go, that's BS. What are you talking about? I said, you literally just told me that you got recognized and erased. Yeah, but that was like rare. Okay, but it happened.
That's a good, yeah, yeah. That's well, and that's a great point. I was going on like
Yeah.
we have the ability to change and change
Yes.
our life paths. But you're
Yes.
absolutely right. Is I think also, and I as you're saying, I'm like reflecting myself. I'm at fault for that a lot.
We
Like,
we do it, and that's why we have to check ourselves.
and we all because we all want like the home run, but man, celebrate the one of hitting the bat, right? Hitting the
Yes.
ball with the bat. I mean
Yes.
that's a great point. It's a great point.
Because then all of a sudden, when you start looking at those positives, just like when your wife was pregnant, how many
Yep.
pregnant women did you see?
Yep.
Lots of them, right?
No, everybody was pregnant.
Yes.
My car in high school, I never even know that car existed. It was like this old car. It was a Honda CRX hatchback. It didn't have power
How
steering.
many
It was
did you see
awesome.
after you got it?
I could not see it. And I remember the friends like, oh yeah,
Exactly.
now you're gonna see him. And I didn't even know the car existed.
Exactly. So thoughts become things. What you focus on is the stuff that your brain starts because you've got so many inputs, like tens of thousands, like in
Yeah.
a very truncated period of time, and your brain goes, okay, we can't process all that stuff. So what matters to us? What matters to us? And you're telling your brain what to focus on based on, are you miserable? This sucks, that sucks, see that what, and your brain's going, okay, this is what matters to us. Change it.
And we have the power to change it.
Yes.
I just did yesterday. So I had breakfast yesterday. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I did a 3-day water fast with coffee. Um,
Oh, okay.
and uh, and
That's a hard thing to come off of because I've done that. And I mean, then my throat closed up because I ate food. It was
oh,
like,
so my rituals. I had eggs for breakfast yesterday,
okay,
and actually and some hummus on the side. That was yummy.
okay.
And
Yeah, don't have steak when you come off a 3-day
yeah,
fast.
that might be a little tough. That might
Good.
like you got to work the
Not
body
good.
back in. But I hadn't done it in so long, and I tried to do a couple times a year, and I hadn't. I kind of babied this. I had shoulder surgery, sent me back for a year. So, anyways, I'm like, all right, let me get going here, and this is coming. Usually like a little change. This is coming after the holidays, like
Yeah.
you know. And I was like, well, and I was like, should I do this? And I was like, well, why not?
Yeah.
And the big reason I wanted to is I said, you know what? I need to sharpen my mind. I want to get that mental discipline. I want to make sure I'm controlling my mind and my body
Yeah.
and my life. So, um, and it was, so Monday that the first day is fine. That's easy. You're working all day Tuesday. Tuesday, at night it's hard, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is, and I'm like, I'm not going to believe what my brain's telling me, right? Wednesday night, it's like 2 in the morning because I can't sleep on those things. And I'm like, and everything, it's like, I got the metallic flavor in my mouth of the keto. I got all this stuff,
All the
and I'm
stuff.
like, and it was, and there's always health benefits, but I wanted it for my mind, right? And I was just like, stay true, like go walk a few miles. It's 2 in the morning. It doesn't matter, but like, don't even like. I was just like, don't listen to yourself. Like, just
Mhm.
stop right now. Stop right now. And anyways, of course, yesterday woke up headache. I'm like, oh, that was easy, right? And the thing is, where the struggle is like Jerry Maguire. Remember that? Like,
Mhm.
why was that so cool back in the day? Um, because we watched it with the kids and we're like, this movie sucks, but it was really cool when it came out, right? Things have changed. But the coolness is, I think secretly, so many people are like, I wish I had that Jerry Maguire moment at work. I wish I
Mhm.
could maybe not send a memo to everybody, would stand up to your boss, say, hey, I'm out. This isn't what I want. I don't stand for
Mhm.
this. And by the way, you have to have standards. You got to stand for something, right? That's important. Otherwise, you stand for nothing, right? So it's very important. And that's where Jerry, I think, Maguire was like,
Mhm.
this isn't what I, but it doesn't have to be as like dramatic, but we have these micro moments throughout our day where if we want to choose something, we don't have to, we can shut that little monkey off in our brain telling us no. To your point, acknowledge the wins, acknowledge you can, and set yourself on a plan to do what you want to do, and life is better. It's easier, and your
Mhm.
relationships are better. your energy is better. You're attracting
Hmm.
people to you, like friends. I mean, it's like and you're just not miserable. I think so many. This is just me, but I think so many miserable people out there just are like miserable because they're not doing what they want to be doing. And it's just
Hmm.
what a shame. That's why I tell my kids all the time, hey, it doesn't matter. Like you want to do this, do that, just do what you like. Like, what do you like? And
Hmm.
don't do something because everyone says you should be doing it. Like
Hmm.
whatever, college or this, it doesn't matter. Like, do what you like, have this path in life because it goes really fast. It goes really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I want to ask this one question and then I'll wrap us up because I mean, we could literally go into a, marathon podcast
It's fun
session.
talking with you. I love
You're
it.
just the kind of guy that I could just go, yeah, uh-huh, yeah. And then you get my brain thinking about something else, and then I get passionate about it because you're passionate about it. It's like if like you're at work, right? And you're with somebody, and when we would all work in person, and then the volume escalates, right? And so you're with these people on the
Totally.
volume, and all of a sudden you're yelling. It's like your TV at home that the volume has to go up and up and up and up and up because it's just not loud enough anymore because whatever. And then you go the next day and you're like, holy crap, well, this thing was loud. Well, it happens when you're in a group with people too, and you just like build on each other. So you were that for me, in the best possible way.
Thank you.
I'm curious though, with the 9% Club and the book and the stuff that you're doing in the AI space, which is super cool. I'm excited about that because I love technology. I love things that can make the stuff that as humans we go, oh, I don't want to do that. That can take that stuff away and then we can do the stuff that we really do
Yep.
want to do. Um, what's the ultimate goal?
For me,
Yeah. What is I mean, like,
well,
yeah.
so I love that question. Look, wrote the. I always wanted to put something out there like this because it is so hard to be an entrepreneur. It's so hard to be a founder. I mean, just the mindset alone, but then doing and then, I mean, the odds are like, well, 91% of there's 91% chance you're gonna fail, right? The odds
Hmm.
are against us, and it's really hard. And I do believe there is a journey, right? Like you gotta get knocked down. You might fail, and fail. We're so afraid of fail. Failure is just one of the pegs on a journey to success, right? Because then you pivot, and you can figure it out. You get wiser. It's like you know, as a kid, whatever. You're playing sports, you get pushed down, you get up, right? Next time the guy knocks you, it doesn't hurt as much, right? Like it's you just get used to it, and you get experience matters, right? So that's just part of that founder experience trajectory. But there was no cookbook, no recipe for. So we're all make these similar mistakes. So the book is like, hey, understanding that like you're gonna have to have your own journey. Can we give you some shortcuts and help you avoid the common mistakes that we all make? Can we collapse time? Can we shorten that curve to success? Like, can we minimize like the impact that your mistakes or failures are going to be so they're not catastrophic? So we talked about like how to talk to people, and the first half of the book's about you got to get revenue. Like everyone thinks about like it doesn't. I was having this conversation with somebody over the holidays. It doesn't matter how good your product is. It does not matter. I mean, it's got to be good. You got to but what matters is like your revenues and profits. Like how much money do
Hmm.
you have in your wallet
Hmm.
and all the stuff. And um so it's about like chapter two is about the difference between not all revenues created equal, right? There's good revenue, there's bad revenue. So and then the second half of the book is about leadership and execution because that is where so many people fail because we're not taught. So I simplified a whole model of execution. It's easy. STEAR, STEAR. You got a strategy, tactics. You gotta execute, right?
Hmm.
Make your adjustments, right? So you gotta act, then you gotta adjust based on that action, right? Because it's okay to mess up, but then what do you
Hmm.
and then you gotta report it. You gotta see what you're doing so you can analyze on everything you do, steer. And we talk about it and stuff like that. So why am I saying all that? The overall goal is can we help influence founders? Can we help influence and turn them into 9%ers? That's our
Hmm.
goal. And we have a community and all this stuff and tools around it. But can we help people become part of that 9% that wins? Can we
Yeah.
impact their lives? Can we impact their families? Can we help them achieve success? Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, that's what it's about, right? Like I love business. I mean, I've been a founder for years. I love deals. I love stuff. I've gotten a lot of help along the way, but if we can help other people, if we can help
Hmm.
people win, that energy, that compounding of success will just radiate. And I do think, you know, the world will be better. Maybe somebody will do something in their next venture might like cure something, right? Or
Hmm.
provide something. It just, and I really believe that. And so that's the ultimate goal. We want to help people,
Yeah.
we want to drive success around the world. And if that helps, cool. We're doing it. We donate 100% of the royalties to homeless vets. We think
I
that's really
love that.
important.
I love that.
The part of this is like there's more than just us, and I think that's something people don't understand. You gotta help others, and then look. I mean, we're entrepreneurs. We like money, like everyone else. Don't get me wrong, but it's not always just about money. It's how can
Mm-mm.
you impact other people's lives and make a difference.
Yeah. Um, what's one of the ones that stands out for you that you look back and go, you know what? That was freaking cool.
Ooh, like what? I'm
Who
trying to
you
think.
helped? Who used the stuff, applied the stuff
You know,
that
I've been mentoring someone. I don't know if I can release the website yet. Maybe I can. And there's a whole new
you don't have to give
fif-
particulars, whatever you're comfortable with saying.
52, and you're
Yeah.
gonna start seeing it a lot. And
Yeah.
and it's a whole thing for. It's not a dating so well, it was intended. We kind of helped her pivot, but it's a coaching. It's a whole thing for helping people. You get like Tinder's like a one night thing. This is like how
Yeah.
do you find someone in long lasting relationships and all that stuff. It's really cool. And the founder is was a lawyer and this and that and started this thing. And so we're talking. I said, listen, I said you got to get out there. Like nobody knows who you are.
Hmm.
Well, we haven't launched yet, but I said. What the heck's that have to do with anything? Wouldn't it be really cool to have this big audience and go, "Hey, the day has
We're
come. Look,
ready. We're
look,
ready.
like check us out," and build up this momentum, but become an authority. Um, because at the end of the day, that's what we have to become. It's not about the product we do; it's about like how, right? So, anyways, I really strongly urged her to start a podcast. And she's like, I can't do a podcast. I'm afraid of people. I'm afraid to talk. I'm like, you're a lawyer. She said, no, but not like that, and all this and that. And I said, look, I said that's you're believing your own false beliefs. And if I said, listen, I'm happy to help you, but if you're not going to do the things CEOs do, you're not going to be a CEO, and then I'm wasting my time. So like either get on the path and I'm happy to help you and guide you. But if you're not willing to do what it takes to be CEO, because not everyone can be a CEO.
Mm-mm.
Like we can all be founders, but we're different breeds, CEOs, right? It's a different and not everyone's supposed to be. But if you want to do that and you want to learn how to do that, I'm happy to help, but you got to start doing the things, right? And so, anyways, she put a post out there today thanking and I mean, I don't know, they have like 75,000 viewers now and this and that, and
I
it's
love
this big
that.
thing. And she's like, how'd you know I could do it? And I'm like, and it's not, and I don't want to sound like it's about me. It's not, it was just, I mean, anyone could give that
No,
advice,
but I
but it was
mean,
about her, it was about just making an impact in someone's life. And then she's the one that did it. I didn't do anything.
yeah.
She
Yeah.
took the step. She didn't, we like delaying is the enemy of progress, right? Like,
But the
just
thing
do it.
is you challenged her thinking. You challenged her limitations. And a lot of times as humans, that's what we need. Someone else to go, if you, not who? I mean,
Right,
if
right.
not now, when?
Yeah.
And we need to hear that
And
because
why not me? Why
it
not
blows,
you, right?
yeah, why not? It blows through that doubt that it's just constantly, for the most part, sitting there going, I don't know. And it's like, why not? And you've got somebody else you're looking to that you respect, that you're going, okay, what's the worst that can happen?
Well, exactly. Exactly. Someone doesn't comment
Yeah,
or watch it. Okay.
yeah, I
Someone
love that.
says no, or even worse, you suck.
Hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get better.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's, and that's the thing is, I think we focus on those things like you started this off by our subconscious protecting us, and it's we God forbid we get rejected or we don't hit what we're wanting to do. And it's not a question of like, I didn't hit my goal. It's like, okay, well, I didn't hit it yet. Right? What do I need to change? Like
Hmm.
I'm doing it. What can I do differently? And it's not the world stacked against me. What do I need to do? Maybe I need to change my world, right? Like
Hmm.
it's all these little things. But going back to what you said about subconscious, it's about training the subconscious to protect us, so we get what we want.
Hmm.
Now, so we're afraid of it.
Well, and not be telling us and scanning for all the dangers. Because when we scan for dangers, we're responding, our body's responding it like it's life or death. And if someone doesn't like what we're doing, it's not life or death. But our body reacts to
Yeah.
that danger similarly. And so we just have to go, it's like that's why the question, what's the worst that can happen? Well, I'm not gonna die.
Right, right, totally.
you
Oh,
know I so appreciate this time, David, and I any freaking time you want to come back and chat
I love this. This is
on
fun. I'd love to come back.
or off, it would be great. The thing that I would ask is, we've covered a lot of stuff, is there one thing that you'd love people to walk away with in addition to all the stuff we covered, or you want to reinforce something that we chatted about already?
I would say, I would say, if you want to help people, grab the book and read it because we're donating to homeless vets. No, seriously. Yeah, the one takeaway I would love to give people is success is a choice,
Mm.
and we make that choice to be on the path to success or not every single day. And success doesn't have to mean like we talked a lot about jobs. It could be anything, right?
Mhm.
Success in what you enjoy doing, but it's a choice, and it's just in our head, right? Like, what do we want to do? Write it down right now. Write down what do you like? What do you want to be doing? And today, in a year, whatever it is, and then map it out. Get on that path, and do it. That's it. That's it.
Mhm.
We can be super successful if we stop listening up here and follow
Mhm.
this. That's my thought.
Yeah, thank you. You remind me of I saw Matthew McConaughey in a podcast that he was talking about this list that he had written down before he ever became a famous actor or anything like that, of these things that he was going to achieve, right? I think he's hit them all. One of them was
Wow.
win an Oscar. But it was, he had
No
forgotten about
kidding.
it. Yeah, he wrote this list down, and so, and he had forgotten about it, put it away and da 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 da. And what happens is, when you set your intention, your subconscious is in the background scanning for that intention. So be bold enough to at least claim what it is you want.
So you're making me tear because I'll share a personal like yes
Hmm.
moment. Not nearly as cool as winning an Oscar,
No,
but
but it is in your world. I
well,
mean,
it is, and it was, and I'm like, oh man. So I'd wanted to do this book for forever. I mean, I love helping. I love talking to. I was like, you know, um, learning disabilities. It was hard for me to write as a kid. Still is hard. I mean, getting a best-selling book was like a big. That was just a goal, right? And and I always had a reason not to do it. Like, oh, I got this or that, or and then finally did it, right? Just had the guts, and that's what I call it, the guts. Because man, when you hit publish, you're like, oh boy, there's no turning back now. Like what was really cool in my head, I don't know. And then you get bestseller, and that's cool. But that wasn't what I wanted. Like, I mean, yeah, I wanted to be a best-selling author, but what I wanted, what I like had written down, and just even like mowing lawns as a kid, thinking about this stuff, right? Um, was one day to be like, somebody like, dude, like I read your book. Whoa. And so my wife and I were on a cruise in early November and we're out in the Caribbean or something. And we're talking, we're on some, I think like snorkeling event, whatever, one of those excursions. And talking to, you start talking to somebody, like, having a drink, somebody just hanging out on this boat. And, And this guy's like, "Oh, cool." Like we're talking. He's like, "Oh, I got to read your book." And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Whatever, no big deal." And someone else comes over. He's like, "Oh," he goes, "Oh," he's like, "You love books." He's like, "You got to." I'm like, "Ah, stop." Like this isn't, I don't want to like. And then the guy's like, "What's your book?" He goes, he's like, "I love that book. I read it." I'm like, "Get the out of here!" Like, and I'm like, to my wife, I'm like, literally like crying. I'm like, my dream came true. I mean, it was like seriously one of the best moments of my life, aside from like my kids getting born and stuff, where it was just like this whole thing that I dreamed of. Like that was my success. It wasn't about, I'm not making money in the book. I wasn't nothing about other than I just wanted some random person to be like, oh, awesome. And so, it's
I
cool. I
love
hate
that.
like, sharing that. Like it's weird, but the
Yeah.
point is anyone can achieve that, right? If you're doing it for the right intentions, the right reasons, and like whatever success is comes true. It just might not be in your timeline that you're looking for.
You set the intention.
Yeah.
I mean, you set the intention. And that's what I'm saying is be bold enough to do that. And no
Yes.
one else has to know about it.
Totally. I never shared that with anyone actually.
No,
I was
no.
like,
And it came true.
it was make me tear up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love it. Thank you. I
Well,
appreciate
thank
you. I
you.
appreciate the stories. I appreciate just time in the room with you, sir.
Oh, likewise,
Yeah.
likewise. No, this is fun. We gotta do
Yeah.
this again.
We do need to do this again. Yeah. So thank you. This has been Leadership Soundbites with David and Michelle. And until next time, I thank you in advance for liking, sharing, and subscribing. It does mean a lot. If you have a comment, I will put David's connection stuff in the description. Let me know what resonated.